Dr. Sushanta Kumar Kashyap. Area of interest are microfinance, self-help groups movement, and women entrepreneurship. Economic issues pertaining to gender, culture, indigenous knowledge, and technology, especially in Northeast India. Poverty and unemployment. Currently, he is the controller of examination at Kumar Bhaskar Burma Sanskrit and Ancient Studies University, Nalbari, Assam. Previously, he was HOD Department of Economics, Barbhag College, Nalbari. He has completed 3 projects which were sponsored by University Grant Commission and Economic Planning Forum. He is the recipient of Best Research Paper Award of Certificate of Merit from UGC Academic Staff College. He is also recipient of Teachers Fellowship under FDP of UGC during 2012 to 2014. He has been nominated as member in Rural Technology Action Group. He has edited 5 books. Over to Dr. Sushanta Kumar Kashyap.
Thank you. Am I audible, Annapurna?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Thanks specially to Dr. Annapurna Dixit for giving me these opportunities to share my views, share my feelings regarding the indigenous industries of India. Actually, my paper, COVID-19 and its aftermath and its impact actually, and its impact on rural indigenous industries of India. I have to share my screen, okay? Okay. It's okay?
Yes, sir.
Annapurna, it's okay?
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay. 1 minute, please. Slide stop from beginning. Okay?
Yeah, I started.
Actually, now I am working as the controller of examination, but previously I was working in a college, and actually I was a teacher. Basically, I like to introduce myself as a teacher and student of economics. Though for last 3 years, I was not getting any opportunity to involve myself in economic seminar or conference, but this webinar, this international webinar, give me an opportunity to get back my previous position actually. Thank you again to this Arya Mahila PG College, especially the Women Brigade, the respected principal madam, then organizing secretary. They are organizing a very good webinar within a very short time. Actually, really, it is a very difficult task to accumulate such a huge personality from different parts of the world. I am really salute to them for this tremendous effort. Let us actually let's start my paper. My title is that COVID-19 and its aftermath in rural indigenous industries of India. Actually, not only indigenous industries, most of the industries all over the world are now currently experiencing the impact of COVID-19. Particularly our most vulnerable business, basically rural indigenous industries, which are mostly run by rural inhabitants of the country with their indigenous knowledge and technology, are at greater risk from COVID-19. And somehow we are not concerned with the loss or impact of the COVID to these very small sectors. But the product of these industries, or these industries, not only producing the products, but their products also reflect the folklore and folk life of the respective country and the community, and which constitute an important part of its cultural heritage. During last few months, from March, what we have observed that many indigenous business are in sector hardest hit due to the emergency measures. For these indigenous industries, this COVID crisis become more worse than the financial crisis, because most of the traditional business, most of this indigenous business faces only a slowdown all over the world, not only in India, all over the world, particularly European countries, then Canada, then African countries. Most of these indigenous business have been suffered a great loss. As per Indian indigenous industries is concerned, which is already in crisis, which are already in crisis, like very acute problems that access to capital, then these industries are located in very remote and rural areas. They have no adequate infrastructure facilities, that they're not able to access internet, then they are not able to get credit from bank or other financial institution. That is, they have lack of credit history. Then they have no financial management skills. Then competition from other MSMEs or MSME or other big industries. Then their problem of marketing the products. Then financial problems, and finally the government apathy. Then government negligence. These are the main problems which are facing by these indigenous industries in India. Now, COVID and sudden lockdown has totally paralyzed the whole indigenous system, whole indigenous industries. You know that after COVID, the lockdown started from March in India, and most of the traditional industries, which are basically producing handloom and handicraft items, then traditional jewelry, are the worst hit from this COVID crisis, because these industries basically depends on the tourist of the country and outside the country. That is, tourist of local or foreign. That is, tourist of local and foreign countries. Apart from that, the hotel and restaurants situated in the tourist places where indigenous industries selling, indigenous communities or indigenous industries selling their ethnic food, selling their products, out of great selling their products out of great trouble, because tourist places have been closed for last 3 months, and the hotel and restaurant business suffered a great loss, and because these are totally closed down, and there is no certainty when this spot will open, when it will be open or not, and if government permit it to open the tourist spot, then whom will visit the places, because I think up to 2 years tourist inflow to any tourist spot is not easy, because till the invention of COVID vaccine, I think movement of people from here and there is very difficult. So this industries really facing a tough challenges in near future. And but fortunately or unfortunately, our government or with our policy makers not much have concern about the impact of COVID on these very small rural sectors. But we cannot ignore the role and importance of this traditional sector, because because these are the backbone of the rural economy. And in India, which is mainly based on rural economy, so we cannot ignore its importance regarding economic development. Apart from considering it as the backbone of the rural economy, indigenous craft and indigenous industries are distinctive and integral features of the socio-economic life of the people of the country. Especially handlooms, handicrafts, bell metal, bamboo products, traditional jewelry, traditional food, indigenous medicines, and products of other household activities are prominent within or outside the world. And that is, we can say that Indian handloom or Indian traditional items have a global significance. But regarding the numbers, regarding the numbers of the indigenous industries and the location of the indigenous industries, there is no census list is available. However, it is estimated that almost 36.1 million MSMEs in India, and 120 million people directly or indirectly depends on this industry. They are getting employment directly or indirectly by selling the, some are depending on selling the products of this industry, some act themselves as intermediates, and likewise almost 120 million peoples engaged in this industry. But in reality, what we have found that apart from 36.1 million, more than double indigenous rural industries in India. Some of them are registered and some of them are unregistered. And if you visit the rural place of the India, and most of the especially in Northeast state, if you visit the places, especially in Northeast state, you find that in most of the indigenous industries are run by rural household, and they actually their investment is very little, and their turnover is very little, but they are depending on that business. But after COVID crisis, these indigenous industries are getting a major setback. These are totally closed down. They are actually in livelihood crisis. They are in livelihood crisis. So we must have to concern regarding the survival of this industry. How we can help them to get back from this COVID crisis. Actually, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 13th May, he actually he announced a massive economics package of rupees 20 lakh crore to provide relief from COVID. And the very next day, after his declaration of 20 lakh crore, our Honorable Minister Mrs. Nirmala Sitaraman announced a slew of liquidity measures which include collateral-free automatic loan worth rupees 3 lakh crore to MSMEs. Really, it is a very welcome step regarding the strengthening of MSMEs of India. But my question, my opinion regarding that is MSME, as per the definition of MSME, that in 2018, Narendra Modi cabinet has just modified the definition of MSME. As per the new definition, those industries whose investment is less than 1 crore and whose turnover is less than 5 crore are considered as micro enterprises or micro industries. I think I don't know the lower limit of that. Actually, upper limit is investment of upper limit is rupees 1 crore, and turnover per year turnover is less than 5 crore. But my fear is that how many of these industries can include themselves in the list of MSMEs, because most of the rural indigenous industries are, their investment is very low, their turnover is very low. Therefore, a question arises regarding getting benefit of the government scheme by these indigenous industries, because it is very difficult for these rural people or for these indigenous people to get the government advantage or to get the government loans or government financial assistance, because somehow it is a very cumbersome process to get the government benefit. And I think most of the industries will not be able to get the government scheme, will not be able to get the government loan or government financial assistance. Therefore, there should be at least a specific budget for these industries. Otherwise, we have these industries which are, again, I would like to mention, which are actually playing an important role and which actually reflect the culture, whose product reflects the folk life and folk culture of the country. Should be protected. Otherwise, these industries totally wipe out from this after COVID crisis. So apart from that, in the government special package, I again request you to our honorable minister, our honorable government. There at least there should be a very special package as relief for this little industry, for this very small industries, so that they can easily get the benefit of this 3 lakh crore budgets from the government. Moreover, there are special loan and financial assistance and concession or for concessional loan on the for working capital. They should provide the concessional loan or for working capital to these indigenous people and indigenous industries. And since what we have observed that most of the workers involved in the indigenous industries become jobless, and even their owner, who is they are also become helpless because they have closed down their business. So it is not possible for the owner to help the workers. So as by my view is that to protect the workers and as well as to protect the owner of this industry, governments we have a scheme MGNREGA. At least that should be at least 50 days labor wage should be provided to the workers of these industries through this MGNREGA scheme and through PM Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana scheme. Then it will somehow benefit that that workers, that laborers. Another problem what we have observed regarding that rural industries, that they are not getting accurate raw materials at a lower price. After COVID or during the lockdown, there is a scarcity of raw materials and prices of raw materials become high. It is not easy to buy the raw materials for this industry as higher prices. Otherwise, if they bought it to higher prices, they will have to sell it. They will not have to sell it at a competitive prices. So there should be some measures to provide them the raw materials at a lower price. Again, indigenous industries of our countries, especially our northeastern states, in my state, they are getting problem to sell their products. That is marketing. Marketing is seriously a major problem. And after COVID and during lockdown, it becomes severe to them. Therefore, we are not only giving financial support, but we must have to give the marketing support also to these industries, because if their products, if they cannot sell their products at a reliable price, they will not be able to collect the revenue. So it will be very dangerous time to over the crisis. But as per our government, our state government or union government have very much concern regarding regarding agricultural and other MSME sector. But we are somehow little concerned regarding the labor sector of involved in this indigenous business. So we must have to give some importance. We must have to give some focus on this issue also. And I think after COVID, our these industries will able to sustain in this very tough environment. I am really hopeful and optimistic that India will able to overcome the crisis, and this small business will also be able to survive in this competitive environment. I am not actually almost 5 papers. I have listened almost 5 papers from very distinguished personalities, and almost all of them have just are the same opinion. One of my previous paper regarding MSMEs, Mr. Barma, he rightly pointed some issues. So we have to, not only for MSMEs only, we have to border it to other sectors also, other small indigenous also. And with these few words, actually, I am very much specific. I become very well because time is from 1 to I am from 1:30 to till now. I am here. I think you are also tired, so I am very much specific regarding my topic, and I think you will able to get my point from my views. Thank you again. Thanks again to this organizers, Dr. Annapurna and all other your colleagues for very much interesting topic you have included in your webinar, and I really appreciate you for your this arrangement, and I get benefited from the lectures. Honestly speaking, I have learned a lot from last few lectures from Japan, then USA, Burma, and from Ramon sirs, and really they are really raised the very important topic. I think this topic, this point should reach the government, should reach the state. Otherwise, our this seminar, I think it will not be. There is no way to how we can communicate with this government or with this state. So I think you will make it possible to send all the important point to the. I think our honorable Prime Minister is from your constituency. So I request you that the main points of this webinar, the main points, what you have taken it, that you should must reach our honorable Prime Minister. Thanking you again. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Sushant Kumar. We will definitely try to communicate all the observations, all the conclusions to the ministries for policy implications. Thank you, Sushant ji.
Thank you.